every Monday and Wednesday during primetime with Made in the Marianas, a captivating night of shows and programs made in our region. From local lifestyle features to KUAM news and sports specials, Made in the Marianas entertains, inspires, and shares the best in our community. Brought to you every Monday and Wednesday by Docomo Pacific, Tomorrow's Islands Today, and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. Apply at matson.com and McDonald's of Guam. I'm loving it.
The Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce hosting a legislative forum where newcomers shared fresh ideas and policies they would champion if elected into office. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with more coming up.
June 28th is officially War Survivors Remembrance Day. I'm Don Sulet, and tonight we take a look on what this means and how local leaders are paying tribute to our greatest generation.
As Guam's military buildup continues, lawmakers and community advocates are insisting the island's civilian future must be planned with the same urgency as its defense. I'm Nevaeh Anderson with the story coming up.
Half a day and good evening, everybody. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. We're so glad you tuned in tonight. I'm Jason Salas, and from all of us here on the studios on Harmon Loop Road, we appreciate you and send our half a day to you and your family, to Guamanians all over the world. Here's your top stories on this Monday night. Well, from growing a new industry to reforming old laws, newcomers fighting for one of 15 seats in the forthcoming 39th Guam legislature this decision 2026 primary election season are sharing the fresh ideas they'll be bringing to the table if elected. Matsuki Hirayama has more from the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce's Legislative Forum.
So without further ado, I think we'll get started with our introductions.
First-time senatorial candidates got the opportunity to spotlight their platform and connect with voters over the weekend at the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce Legislative Forum. Incumbents and former senators were invited, though the event was mainly for newcomers to share fresh ideas and policies they would champion if elected into office. One of the standout responses came from candidate Callan Paris under the Democratic ticket. She was the first to be questioned, with seating at random.
The legislation that I really would like to introduce is access to a publicly funded commercial kitchen.
With an over-reliance on federal spending, the military buildup, and tourism, the Women's Chamber asked what industry she would prioritize growing in the next 2 years, and a specific legislation to make that happen. Paris answered agriculture should become Guam's fourth pillar of industry, arguing the island, which imports 90% of its food, is vulnerable when global supply chains are interrupted.
If we had a publicly funded commercial kitchen for all of our farmers and growers, it expands their opportunity to entrepreneurship, it expands our opportunity to create exports, and we're able to show people all over the world, especially our tourism markets, like, we have the most delicious food on Guam. We have the best avocados. We have the best mangoes. We have the hottest doni.
On the other side of the aisle, Republican candidate Jonathan Savara shares the first bill he says he can make happen within the first 3 months to tackle an issue especially pervasive in his home village of Dededo.
The recycling revolving fund needs to be restructured because I'm tired of seeing junk cars in our village and white goods. My village, our soil is more fertile than anybody on this island. We grow more junk cars and white goods, and that needs to end.
Another priority is to bring healthcare into the communities. Savaras criticizes plans to build a new hospital as quickly as possible as, quote, reactive healthcare.
Getting healthcare into our villages where people can get seen instead of worrying about a transit system that we keep preaching that we're going to fix. The reality is get it to the village levels where our mayor can pick them up and take them to their medical appointment, because my mom did that for decades. Mayors for decades and years have done that.
Chamber members and other voters were able to sit face-to-face with 15 candidates to ask further questions and hear what changes they would make if elected. Matsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Well, ahead of the 82nd anniversary of the liberation of our island, Guam is paying tribute to our war survivors, living witnesses to history and whose sacrifice create the pillars of Guam's inafamalik spirit and our unique culture. Don Sulat has more in this next report.
Today we gather as one family to honor a generation whose courage shaped the very soul of Guam.
June 28, 2026 is officially recognized as War Survivor Remembrance Day. According to the Guam legislature, the day also serves as an integral part of the 82nd year anniversary of the liberation of Guam. To honor our brave survivors, a proclamation ceremony and resolution presentation were held at the People's House yesterday. In attendance were our island survivors and their families, as well as local leaders from all three branches of government. Thousands of Chamorros, who have been dubbed as the greatest generation, have survived the atrocities of war during the Japanese occupation of Guam from 1941 to 1944.
We never once thought they would ever be in that situation. And as we gathered 85 years ago, praying and celebrating Santa Kamalin, is when we heard the airplanes and the bombing of Sumai. That began 3 years of devastation of our island and our people.
Guam was invaded on December 10, 1941, where for 2 years, 6 months, and 15 days, the island's people were forced into labor, endured food shortages, family separation, and the unfortunate loss and suppression of their faith, language, culture, and basic human rights.
And on July 21st, 1944, American forces began the long-awaited liberation of Guam, restoring freedom to the island and its people after intense fighting and further devastation.
As we near the 82nd Liberation Day anniversary, June 28th serves as an additional reminder of the sacrifice and the courage of our island's greatest. According to Vice Speaker Ada, as the number of living survivors continue to lower, it is the job of the generation after them to document, preserve, and honor them and their experiences with dignity and gratitude. Don Sulet, KUAM News.
Thanks so much, Don. In our next story, with new military investments on the horizon, island advocates say the conversation surrounding national security must not continue without including the impacts and needs of local communities. This next report is with Nevaeh Anderson.
For decades, Guam has been asked to shoulder an expanding role in U.S. national defense. Now community advocates say it's time Washington shows the same level of commitment to the people who call this island home. That message echoed throughout the legislature's second informational briefing on the military buildup, where lawmakers and community leaders examined how the next phase of military investment could shape Guam for generations. Committee on Military Buildup Chair Senator Tello Taitigui said the discussion has taken on new urgency since the last briefing in May, citing the Pentagon's latest budget request, plans for a missile defense system, and proposed language in the fiscal year 2027 National Defense Authorization Act that could authorize the future deployment of micronuclear reactors on Guam.
A budget request of $122 billion was sent to Congress from Admiral Sam Papar, commander of the Indo-Pacific Command. However, only $909 million, that is, of this total budget request will be dedicated to Guam's defense system as part of the $4.5 billion Pacific Homeland Defense Strategy Program.
She emphasized that if the buildup continues to expand, so will its effects on the island, from land use to housing, utilities, and cultural preservation, areas in which residents are already feeling the strain. Her call for greater local voice continued during public testimony. Dr. Robert Underwood, chair of the Pacific Center for Island Security, said the responsibility of any community is to ask whether national security decisions also advance the well-being of the people who live there.
The military has an important mission. I respect that mission, but they are not entitled to uncritical review or support for their activities.
And PCIS board member Leland Bettis argued that while the United States has clear national security objectives for Guam, the island itself remains largely absent from a broader national strategy, evident in the lack of investment in civilian preparedness. As the United States invests billions to strengthen its military posture in the Pacific, Bettis noted Guam still lacks the resiliency infrastructure needed, such as shelters, to protect its residents should a regional conflict reach the island.
Sure, we are important for military purposes, just not important in a national plan that thinks about civilian lives.
He also cautioned against building Guam's future around military plans alone. Pointing to changing priorities over the years, Bettis said defense strategies can evolve, but the impacts of those decisions on Guam's land, resources, and communities remain. He highlighted Camp Laws and Polaris Point as examples.
After massive environmental degradation is this a facility the U.S. Marine Corps is actually going to occupy? The fact is the Marines never wanted to be here. The plans for developing Polaris Point to base new Virginia-class subs was the rage 3 years ago. A multi-billion-dollar plan was in the works. Not anymore.
So while the buildup is driven by global security concerns, speakers throughout the hearing made it clear they believe Guam's civilian future must receive the same level of planning, attention, and investment, because national security also includes consideration of the people who live on its front line. Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
Well, Nevaeh is going to have more tomorrow night with more from the testimony from the hearing right here on Primetime. Make sure to check us out, of course, on our social media if you would like to add your comments to the ongoing conversation about the buildup of troops here and the cost involved. All right, moving on in our rundown, boaters and mariners are being advised of temporary waterway restrictions near Rota Banks off Ortidium Point this week. The restrictions will be in effect from June 30th and July 1st from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m., I should say, in support of a live fire training exercise at the Mason Live Fire Training Complex. During those hours, all maritime traffic must remain clear of the designated restricted area to ensure the safety of both military personnel and the public. Officials ask for the community's patience and cooperation while the training is ongoing. Those with questions can contact Marine Corps Base Camp Bloss's Communication, Strategy, and Operations Division. And in other news, the search for Roberta Taimanglo, also known commonly as Berta, has been suspended, but the investigation about her whereabouts remains active. A joint update from GPD and GFD notes that Taimanglo's vehicle was located around 7:30 Friday morning along the Paget hiking trail in Mangilao, with investigators searching the area and finding personal belongings. Guam Fire Department crews conducted extensive searches on June the 26th and 27th with assistance from the Guam Police Department. The active search was officially suspended at 5 p.m. Friday, and police say they will continue follow-up investigations and are asking anyone with any more information among Taimanglo's whereabouts to contact GPD's dispatch at 475-8615. Well, please stay tuned, everybody. Primetime will return right after this.
Ready to make a splash this summer? Kmart is. Dive into the fun. Get in the game. Make some waves. Summer Splash at Kmart.
Tourism is Guam's #1 industry. It creates jobs and brings in spending. When a visitor comes to Guam, they spend their money on hotels, on transportation, on shopping, on dining out. They're happy they came to Guam. You know who else is happy? The hotel they stayed in, and the bellhop at the hotel. The tour bus drivers and tour guides. The stores they shopped at, and the banks they used. The restaurant and the waitstaff. The supplier who delivered the ingredients, and the farmer who supplied the produce. From real estate to retail, tourism has a positive impact on every industry. When tourists pay taxes, it means locals pay less. Let's make sure our local economy grows so it becomes stronger and more sustainable. Make Guam a better place to live, work, and visit. Support tourism.
Head of the class of 2026 is proudly presented by Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, and DCSP 21 DBA Amentum.
Our ongoing series, Head of the Class, continues to roll on, where we shine the spotlight on the top students from the class of 2026 from Guam's public, private, and charter schools. And today, we are shining the light on a school that's just around the corner from us here on Harmon Loop Road. It's the valedictorian and salutatorian from St. Paul Christian School.
Half a day, My name is Shankert S. Makatangay, and I am the valedictorian for St. Paul Christian School, graduating class of 2026. Joining the school's band and orchestra has been something that I never thought I would enjoy, because back then I was never really interested in music. But then they put me in an orchestra class and handed me a violin. And starting from there, I started to lead melodies. Then they put me into band class where I picked up the bass and I laid the foundation for many songs. In turn, music became my outlet for creativity. I plan to attend the University of Guam to pursue a degree in accounting. Maybe I'll even take up some interest in business and finance. I'll also like to work on cars and maybe even play some music for hotels on the side. Stay curious, keep exploring, and never be afraid to rise again after failure or hardship. There are so many people willing to encourage you, support you, and believe in you, because one wrong move in your life does not define your entire future. To my loving parents and family, thank you for nurturing my mind, my heart, and my character, and to building me into what I am today. To my teachers, thank you for providing this school to become a second home for me to hone my skills. To all my friends, thank you for all the memories that we have made together. And most of all, glory to God in the highest, for He makes all things possible.
Hafade, my name is Michael Virgilio Pono, and I'm the salutatorian of the St. Paul graduating class of 2026. The accolades are cool and all, but throughout everyday life, I realized that those were the best moments of my high school life. Just being there with my friends and just living my day-to-day life. Right now, I'm just working, but I plan to attend UOGU. I'm undecided right now, but it's most likely going to be business. Just enjoy your time, just have fun, live in the moment, and don't try to look to the future too much. To my entire support system, my mom, my dad, my uncles, and on my journey. I would not be here without you guys.
Head of the class of 2026 is proudly presented by Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, and DCSP 21 DBA Amentum.
Well, our island's Liberation Day is coming up in a few weeks, and the 82nd Liberation Queen and her royal court have officially been crowned. Saturday evening, contestants from villages across our island took the stage at the Leo Palace Resort Guam in Minangin for this year's 82nd Liberation Queen pageant and coronation ceremony. And taking home the crown as Her Majesty is our 82nd Liberation Queen, Ella Marie Cepeda, who represents the southern village of Jotnya. Joining her on the royal court are 82nd Liberation Royal Princess Edem Blaze Pablo Cruz of Santa Rita Sumay, 82nd Liberation Princess Felicia Jade Cepeda Salas of Jigo, Miss International Kaylin Gebhardt, who represents the tri-village of Tumuning Tuman Harmon, and Miss Ambassador Kael Ann Narun of Chalampago Ordet. Now, the annual pageant is one of the signature events that lead up to Guam's 82nd Liberation Day celebrations, recognizing young women for their poise, leadership, and commitment to serving our island communities. Congratulations to all of the ladies. Well, now as islanders, our most cherished virtues are, of course, respect and love. And we all love a good party, good music, and a gathering with family and friends. So the concepts were all merged together for an incredible time down in the hub of hospitality.
The last Sunday in June saw a huge party in our tourism epicenter with a special twist, as the weekly Tuman Night Market had the added fun of the local celebration of Pride Month. Members of our island's LGBTQ+ community and allies marched, danced, broke bread, and celebrated together, commemorating the universal appeal of love, diversity, inclusion, positivity, and equality for all Guamanians. The Pride Parade made its way through the Pleasure Island section of Tuman, starting at Tuman Sands and heading north against the backdrop of the setting sun and rainbow pride flags waving high. And our community's new favorite tradition of the Sunday night market saw music, food, fun, and great bargains for all, making for an amazing way to wind down the weekend. Each year, June celebrates lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer communities throughout the world. Now, Pride Month may be concluding tomorrow, but love is everlasting. Push love, Viva Pride.
Now for a look at your world at home.
Whether you call it a lookout or an overlook, this is the unmistakable view from Sella Bay all the way out to the ocean.
Now it pays to spread the Better Together experience. With our brand new referral program, you can earn up to $150 in account credits for every referral you bring in. That's right, family, neighbors, friends, even your coworkers. Just pass them your account name and account number. When they sign up for Docomo Pacific service and drop your info, cha-ching! Credit applied. So spread the word and start stacking those savings. Additional conditions may apply. Docomo Pacific, we're better together.
Collect one of 9 legendary cups with the FIFA World Cup meal.
Tonight's sports feature is brought to you by Cars Plus.
Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby! Wisely kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby!
Tonight's sports feature is brought to you by Cars Plus.
We're basically sacrificing our summer to try and get better. So when the season comes up, we're more prepared for 15s.
Down, calm down, play smart.
And just being able to show, like, this is who we are, like, this is Guam, this is how we play. It's just an incredible feeling.
Keep the smile on your face, the moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me, you can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Of America's 250th anniversary, Jeep and Captain America are saluting real captains of America.
All clear, Cap.
Heroes like Captain Nuger, Captain Enda.
Team, I got eyes on Cap.
Captain Murray.
Copy that.
Captain McCall. All those who served our country.
Need to live, Captain? Brought my own, Captain.
And as America's veteran SUV, Jeep is built for freedom and driven by heroes.
News Bites is brought to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Fresco Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Marianas.
Okay, everybody, I was telling you about that baseball game all last week, right? It showed today on KUAM TV. It streamed at Peacock. Oh, boy. My Yankees had it up until the last minute, but, you know, maybe not. We'll get the Red Sox like next time and everything. All right, but Christmas in July Bazaar in News Bites, all right? This is over at GCC. You know what? Is this my friend Gene Cepeda's program? I bet Gene was involved in this and everything. And if you know a Gene Cepeda production or anybody at GCC, right? Viscom, their marketing teams, anything that they do all out. And we want to invite you to head over to Manilao, check out this bazaar because there are really, really good bargains. Artisans, artisanal goods, handmade goods, right? Boutiques, decorative gifts. And you are going to interact with some really, really good young minds who really put their heart and soul into this. So please make sure to check it out. It is on July 11th, 10 to 5. Bring some money, stop by the ATM, and you are going to help the vendors. You're going to get your Christmas shopping done. Never too early to go Christmas shopping, everybody. Just put it away in the closet, stash it in a shoebox, and you will be good to go, all right? Make sure to go check it out, and you're going to help GCC's scholarship programs, all right? The Purple Gala is also coming up, so I want you to consider getting involved in the Purple Gala because Bloom in Hope is the theme. And this is for Vero, right? Victims advocates reaching out, our very good friends there, and they do so much essential work. It is on October 10th. Now, I know this is a ways off, but please make sure to consider buying a seat reserving a table because you are going to help the folks at Vero with their relief programs, their support programs, and the initiatives that they do to help people that are in need of victim services and everything. Thank you, Vero, for what you do for our island community, and thank you guys for supporting Vero. We are going to be there, and we want to see you there too. All right? And then the Society of Military Engineers, the industry forum is coming up, right? Dave, what do you need to know, right? American military engineers, that's a lot of slide rules, that's a lot of garrison caps, that's a lot of big minds who are all going to gather in the same room and talk about construction projects, talk about infrastructure, talk about contracting, talk about timelines, talk about a whole bunch of stuff. I emceed this event 2 years ago, and it was absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to do an interview about this, but I want you to reserve your seat. Scan the QR code right now and register, because big opportunities are already coming Guam's way. They're already here. All you got to do is learn about the pipeline that you have to get into and who you can network with. Really, really good discussions here. I had an absolute amazing time. I love this stuff, right? I learned so much from being here. So we will see you there at the Society of American Military Engineers, the Guam Post, right here, getting stuff done. All right, we have a birthday shout out package for you now that is unlike anything we've ever done. I was really excited putting this together for you. So here, check it out. Tonight's birthday shout outs.
Okay, everybody, it's birthday time, and you know we love reading these birthday shout-outs, but tonight we have a special treat because we also have a memory, and we need to get more of these. So happy birthday to Daryl Neff, and a very special someone says, happy birthday, Daryl, and now says, my husband spent time in Guam about 48 years ago for the Long Beach Naval Shipyard. He has good memories of his time there, including snorkeling in Tumon Bay, very, very nice, visiting the village festivals, very, very nice, and playing volleyball with the nuns. Very nice. So, Daryl, we hope you have an absolutely amazing day, and for a very special wife, that's a great, great, great memory. Thanks for that. All right, Helen Q. Pangilinan, happy birthday to my amazing wife, and you are a beautiful mom and partner. I'm so grateful for you every day. We love you so much, from your adoring husband and the family. Nicholas, your papa and grandma and your family in Colorado are sending you happy birthday love. May your day be full of love and happiness, they say, and they say we love and miss you. Teresa Murto Cepeda. I know Teresa. Happy birthday, Teresa. Happy birthday going out to you. And in all caps, your friends and family say we are wishing you a wonderful day. And George Mesa, happy belated birthday to George, who celebrated his birthday on Sunday. Hope you had a great one, friend, and we hope you have a great Monday, too. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@kuam.com.
My friends, don't even think about swiping up, swiping past, or changing the channel, because coming up next, we got a real important episode of The Interview, where my buddy Don Sulat is going to sit down with another friend of mine, Chima Mbakwim, who you know from public health. He's not only the agency's tuberculosis program manager, he's now the newest president of the National Tuberculosis Coalition of America. Very, very important role, and the right man for the right job. He and Don are going to talk about that role and what it means to keep us healthy right here on 671. That starts right now.
Hofade todos Hamzu Santiro, I'm Don Sulat, and joining me today is the Department of Public Health and Social Services Tuberculosis Program Manager, the former Chief Public Health Officer, with the department. He is also the new president of the National Tuberculosis Coalition of America president, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it, he is also an avid soccer fan and player, Mr. Chima Mbakwim. Chima, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Don. You know, it's like old time, you know,
I know.
I'm talking to you.
Right. Full disclosure, as some of you may know, I was the former public information officer with the department, hence why I had a little Freudian slip earlier. But going straight into it, Chima, congratulations again on becoming the new president of the Tuberculosis Coalition of America. And you are the first to lead from the Pacific Islands lead the organization in its 30-year history. Congratulations again. So going straight into it, how long have you been with the coalition?
I joined the coalition in 2018 when I started working with public health. In 2020, I contested for the medium incidence rep, representing almost 15 states with the islands. And then I was there for 4 years, up to 24, when I was nominated by my colleagues to run for the president. So I ran for the president and won the election. And it's supposed to be a 3-year term, 1 year as incoming president, where you have to plan the conference that would usher you in as the president. And then 1 year as president, and then another 1 year as outgoing president, where you can now complete whatever projects that you have, in your 2 years. So, but what happened was that the board was frozen in 25 due to funding challenges. So the conference for that year was via Zoom, So, and then in 2026, which is this year, we now had the first in-person conference. And that was when I was officially handed over the presidency.
Okay, because I read the press release, so that's why I was wondering, you were incoming president for 2 years, correct?
Yes.
So would this be the first 4-year term presidency within the coalition?
Yes, I've been on that board for so long,
Right, and this was during your time, you came in 2020 with the board, during your time as Chief Public Health Officer, CPHO, otherwise called. How was it like being on the board with TB, but also helping the island's response to COVID, both respiratory diseases and TB being a communicable disease? How was it like, especially, do you think that experience, trying to differentiate the two, because as we know during 2020, the common cold could have been looked at as COVID. It presents itself as COVID symptoms, similar with TB. You have the TB cough, then phlegm issues as well. How was that something you think that played a role into you eventually becoming the president?
No, becoming the president is another story. But I think working the COVID thing is something that I think my experience in public health, goes back a long way. In the early 90s when we had the HIV epidemic in Nigeria, which I was part of responding to. And then with working for a PEPFAR funded organization, I also started working on TB in early 2004. So I've been very experienced in responding to situations like that. So with COVID, it wasn't really a problem because I think it's more about confidence in decision making, being able to think ahead, plan ahead, and also having support from leadership. The administration was very supportive with public health during that time, and I think a lot of people had doubts and challenges, but I think pushing forward with science and facts, we were able to achieve all we achieved. There was limited number of deaths. We had high immunization rates. So I think it's just working as a team, working with a group of people that, that are experienced, someone like Annette, who's very experienced in public health, having people like her at your side, gives you that confidence to make decisions and being able to carry out those decisions. So I think it's more like the public health team is such an experienced group of people that, you don't see what they do until there's a problem. Right. But their job is to stop the problem.
Right. And Annette, for our viewers, she's no stranger. She was also interviewed by our Matsuki regarding vaccinations. She's with the immunization program. But shifting it over back to the coalition, as president, what does this mean to you?
I think it means a lot. And I'll be very true with you. When I went for my first conference, I sat back and I was looking at what was going on, and I was trying to figure out, where would the Pacific Islands fit into the big picture? Because it was a huge gathering. I think at the most we have like 500 people attending these conferences, with huge breakout sessions. But we had a post-conference session for the Pacific Islanders. And in that group, there were a few of us, from the Pacific Islands, from the Centers of Excellence for TB, and then there were the CDC staff. So we all sat there, we had our meetings. When I left, an idea came to my mind. So in 2019, I met Donna Wagner in Palau, who is the executive director. We had a lot of conversations about, the Pacific Islands, the needs of the Pacific Islands. It was very conversational. And she said, there are open positions you can run if you want, I'm like, okay. I'm not a stranger to doing things like that. So I contested the election to represent the medium incident areas, which is like 15 states with the Pacific Islands. So I won the election and I got on the board. But one thing that was clear was that during the campaign, I said I would be on the board to represent the US APIs and contribute, and also contribute to the general well-being of the US population, So And then the second one was expanding the NTCA collaborations and advocacy towards increasing funding for TB programs, right? And partner organizations that are in the elimination. So this, I went on board clearly saying, I'm here for the Pacific Islands. I didn't mince words, I was very clear. So maybe I did a good job and I got reelected, the second time. And I think we could list a lot of achievements, for the Pacific Islands during that period. But in order to be decent, I won't just go in there, So then when it was time to contest for the presidency, then it was clear that when I was asked, my colleagues asked if it's okay for them to nominate me. I said, okay, if that's what you guys want, I'm okay with it. But during the campaign, I said, I would like to see more technical support for the USAPI TB programs. Same thing, but especially in Guam. Because Guam is the tip of the spear for the U.S. military defense in the Western Pacific. And this is where Americans' day begins. So it's important for people to recognize the fact that not only that we are there protecting militarily, right, we also have health issues that we can also protect the U.S. from, right? So I also talked about, recognizing the fact that we have visitors and immigrants who make this island their gateway into the U.S. So increasing vigilance and surveillance in the region would actually help eliminate TB. So, and also I talked about also developing culturally and linguistically appropriate approaches in dealing with TB because of our sister and brother islands. So I was very clear, and it's important that I made this clear from the beginning. So my colleagues actually voted for me knowing that this was my position, right? But I also made it clear that while I'm there to serve the interest of the U.S., I come from a particular region which I have to represent first. So I'm out there representing the Pacific Islands and also the U.S.
GU Self Storage, located in Harmon next to McDonald's, offers a variety of storage units. With rates starting as low as $95 per month, we offer complimentary use of dollies, push carts, Pines hand trucks, and pallet jack, with a fully covered loading and unloading areas and ADA accessible units. We offer 24-hour CCTV surveillance monitoring, alarm, and individual pin-coded gate and door access, because your safety is our priority. GU Self Storage, voted Pika's Best in 2024. Call 671-648-7867 today. On Thursday, July 9th, the Edward M. Calvo Cancer Foundation presents a special opening night premiere of Moana at Regal Theaters at the Guam Premiere Outlets. The beloved anime tale with the unforgettable songs we all know and cherish comes to life as a live-action feature. Moana's story of bravery, resilience, and self-discovery is an inspiration to all. Tickets are $30 and include a commemorative t-shirt, goodie bag, prizes, and fun pre-show activities. The doors open at 5 p.m. and screening begins at 6. Email emccancerfoundation@gmail.com or call 472-6223 to reserve your seats. All proceeds to benefit the Edward M. Calvo Cancer Foundation, supporting Guam's cancer patients for over 20 years. With your generous support, we can continue to help our community and show that Guam is good. This special screening is presented by
And there it was, the first great American yell, echoing like a sonic boom across history. This country didn't tiptoe onto the world stage. Hell no. We kicked down the door with all the subtlety of a cannon blast. We were born loud, born with that unmistakable American sound. Part war cry, part victory lap, part watch this. Liberty is loud, baby. Always has been, always will be. Loud isn't just about volume. It's dreams that won't stay bottled up or be muzzled by good manners. It's the roar of American thunder. Engines that cut through the static and speak directly to that loud, proud, impossible American soul. Something to say? Say it. Something to prove? Prove it. Something to ride? Ride it straight into the history books. Because quiet won't get you anywhere. In this country, in loud we trust.
Half a day. Here at KUAM News, we are committed to comprehensive election coverage all season long as Guam's media leader.
We give candidates a chance to share their platforms and ideas and exchange in meaningful interactions with stakeholders so you can make an informed decision before you head to the polls.
This primary election season, KUAM News presents the Republican and Democrat gubernatorial forums on July 1st and 8th.
Watch the live broadcast on location at the Crown Plaza Encore Theater on KUAM TV8 or stream on Peacock, YouTube, and Facebook Live at 6:30 p.m.
You can also tune in to Encore broadcasts throughout the month of July.
KUAM News' presentation of the primary gubernatorial forums is our unwavering commitment to keeping our community informed.
You mentioned just now about your goal and in trying to represent not just Guam, but the entire USAPI. And can you go into a little more detail about not just being the president, but being a part of the coalition and how that benefits Guam and the rest of the USAPI islands? Because even though we are part of the US, bringing back to Guam, it's very easy for us to be overlooked. So by being in the coalition, do you think that and especially now as president, are you able to bring in more resources to us as part of the coalition, or in short, how does this benefit Guam?
Okay, so what you have to understand is that you have to be on the agenda to be discussed, or you have to be in the room to be part of developing the agenda, and I know that as a fact. So when I got into that conference the first time, what was on my mind is how would the Pacific Islands get on the agenda? How do we become a voice? And it was strategic for me because I had to sit back and figure out how to do it. So you can imagine the level of networking for someone from Guam, being the first time in a conference of more than 400-500 people, right? Being able to reach out in such a way that in 2 years, you're able to make a statement. So that was the number one thing I thought about. Number two was, how do I shine a light to us as an island? Because we are so important, but geographically isolated. So is also how do you explain that to people to understand it with facts, right? Just not going there crying or seeking for pity. I didn't go there asking for help. I went to the table stating the fact, we are part of the US, we are geographically isolated, we have all these challenges, so I need us to have this discussion about these challenges. And I think people recognize the fact that my statements were true, and we got into it. So the advantage is we are now on the table. We are now part of the agenda. So whatever interest that we represent, whatever thing that we want to support, it is easy for us to put it out there on the board, right? But I didn't stop at that. In 2023, Todu Guam Foundation and myself and some of the Pacific Islands, we and APCHO, that's the Association for Asia Pacific Islanders, right? So we started what we call the Asian Pacific Islander Asian NTCA Special Committee on TB in Asian Pacific Islander communities, right? So my intention was, if I stay on the board as long as I'm going to stay, I'm not going to be there forever, right? But I needed something that is sustainable. So in 2023, I tried to start that special interest group. We had the meeting in Atlanta, and we generated some kind of support. But this year, in 2026, we had a second meeting for that same reason, and we were able to have 165 people attend the meeting. Todu Guam did a presentation, APCHO did a presentation, and we had a good son of Guam, Adam Cablido, who is the policy advisor for APCHO, talk about the political status and health care access in the US Pacific Islands and the freely associated states. And the reason why we made that a topic is so that people will understand what the healthcare infrastructure is here and what accesses that we have here and both in the US. So I think we're on the right track so that even when I stop being the president, the special interest group will still be part of NTCA, representing the interest of the Pacific Islands. So this is sustainability moving forward. And having a non-profit organization like Todo Guam being part of it actually outlives the fact that even if I'm not there, there's a local organization that can continue that, and also the fact that the program would also be part of it. So I think is important.
Right, and that's the number one thing. Having at least a seat at the table is what's going to open the doors for us. As you mentioned, as you're leaving, we're not going to be in these seats forever. No. But like it's having the roadmap start, right? So that's a great thing to hear. And now shifting it more into like a more tangible object with TB. I mentioned earlier, it's a communicable respiratory disease, but it is treatable and preventable. Can you go into detail about treatment access capabilities that we currently have on Guam?
I think you can say every TB patient is unique. They come with their own unique challenges, right? But in the program, we have a team, very experienced team, that can attend to all these challenges. But at the same time, there are issues that are limiting. So you're looking at how much funding you have, how much staff you have, how much access you have to drugs, considering the distance between us and the state side, right? So I think the director has been very supportive with my leadership in supporting the TB program. You can remember in 2024, we had a TB outbreak here on Guam, MDR TB. It was the support of my leadership that made it possible for us to take care of that. And at the conference this year, the Texas TB controller actually had a presentation on how they were able to access drugs from the Global Drug Facility and WHO, right? Which was a big win for them because we don't have access to that stockpile. But I looked at Guam and said, whoa, we did something like that because we had this TB case that was the first time in the Pacific, in Guam, a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old with multi-drug resistant TB. What did we do? We got CDC involved, we got FDA involved, we got SNTC, Southeastern National TB Center involved. We were able to get from FDA, we had an investigational drug approved for us. We had to work with Otsuka in Japan to get the drugs from Germany. My team was trained, and then we were able to take care of these kids. I'm like, this is us, a small TB program of less than 10 people, and doing the same thing with Texas that has almost like how many hundreds of staff, you know. So I think those are the little wins that we have, you know, on Guam that shows that we're resilient. So while we have those challenges that, you know, that we can address on air, but, you know, we can, you know, my leadership is something that they're working on to provide support for us.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Kevin Hart here to tell you all about Taco Bell's new jalapeno citrus salsa. Hey guys, I kind of feel like you're chopping off my head a little bit. I'm the money, don't forget that. It's spicy, balanced with a sweet and tangy citrus touch that makes everything taste even better. And the best part is, it comes with, I kind of still feel like you ain't got all of me. The best part is it comes with anything on the Cantina menu. So you better try it before it's gone.
New jalapeno citrus salsa, the sauce with more main character energy than Kevin Hart.
If you're looking for the future of football, it's gonna be me. Capaz que no sabe quién soy todavía. Pero pronto lo vas a saber.
Great goal, kid.
Wait, you thought that was great? I'm gonna be so big. I wouldn't even be able to walk down the street.
Ah, é? Então se liga. Eu vou ser o maior artilheiro da Copa.
Not if I'm playing.
Ei, cara, sai do meu sonho.
It's my dream too, bro.
So, don't wait for the future. Drive it. Next starts now.
Right, and I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention to you play a hand in eradicating leprosy, otherwise known as Hansen's disease. And you also had, you pioneered Guam Zero Leprosy program. So is there something similar being worked on with regards to TB?
So these are diseases that are almost alike because of the bacteria that causes them. So with leprosy, what we were able to do is that we developed a roadmap towards elimination. So first thing that we want to do is cut off transmission and then go towards elimination, which is very possible. It is very possible. We have the roadmap approved by the director, accepted by our global partner, which is GPZL. We actually had that collaboration with Todo Guam that supported us to produce that, that roadmap, right? And for TB, it's almost the same thing. But the challenge with TB is bringing stakeholders the way we brought stakeholders together for leprosy. So as we move forward, we're looking at also developing such a roadmap, but it will need stakeholder involvement. But with leprosy, we had funding to do that. But with TB, we don't have that funding. If there's a way for us to have access to funds, it's easy to develop a roadmap because we already have the experience. We were actually the first to develop, we were the second to develop the roadmap using the GPZL tool to do it in the whole world. Because usually GPZL will go to the country and work with the team to do it. But they developed a toolkit that was handed out to countries to try. So Guam was the second that actually used that toolkit to develop a Guam-specific roadmap. So I think kudos to our stakeholders, my leadership that actually supported and the NGOs that came to us, the church leaders who came together to develop that roadmap. So it's a collective effort by the community to come up with a plan to eradicate the disease. So that can be replicated for TB too.
Right, and just to sum that all up, with leprosy, obviously both diseases can be prevented, right, with vaccinations, but with respect to eradicating it, just for my understanding, from leprosy to TB, we really need the community to be involved and to have the discussion. And with you now being the president of the Coalition of America, perhaps that's something we could, you could have the discussion at the seat of the table. But shifting it over into a different entity, can you give more details about the collaboration efforts with the Pacific Islands Tuberculosis Controllers Association? Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, so when I started, we usually have two conferences every year. One is the regional conference, which is the Pacific Island TB Controllers Association conference. And then we have the national conference. They go back to back. So the regional conference looks at issues within the Pacific region and how we can solve it as a unit. So that conference was last held in Guam in 2009, October. So last year, I think 2 years ago, there was an offer for the conference to be held somewhere else. And I nominated Guam, and with my leadership support, Guam is going to host the conference here in September, on September 10 to September 14, which is going to bring in all the TB leaders from across the Union and across the Pacific regions to come together and discuss issues that are relative to TB in the Pacifics, Guam specific, and also looking at how we can collaborate with other regions around us. And then right after that, on the 15th and the 16th, we also have a leprosy conference coming up. Last time it was held in Guam was in 2014. So we're having that regional conference too, to also talk about new diagnostics, talk about treatment, and how to cut off transmission and eliminate leprosy, because that's part of the roadmap plan. So everything is